Hey Raph, I'm a teacher and I can barely afford to pay rent with my salary. My salary bi-weekly is basically my rent minus $500. Guess how much my car is? $400. Guess how much insurance is? $100. Oh yeah, that's right. You do the math. I'm left with owing money at the end of the month. That's not even with groceries. Holy shit. That's not even with groceries. I realize every single month I am transferring money out of savings into my checking, and I am not. Just had the realization in the car that I'm actually going to go into debt if I continue being a teacher. Like, genuinely. Wow. Oh, I'm like literally having a crisis right now. I'm going to have a panic attack right now. I can't do this. I literally cannot do this. Knowing every single month that most of my money is literally, like, I don't have money. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to pay off my credit card this month. I don't know.
Huh. You're telling me Bidenomics and the globalist Build Back Better financial policies aren't working out for the American people? Huh. Who would have thought? Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name is Zurkadowski here of WeAreChange.org, and there's a lot of absolutely crazy and wild news to get into today, as of course it looks like we have a repeat of what just happened a few years ago in China, as of course everyone now is focused on a local sickness there that is grabbing a lot of people's attention. Is it the right thing to focus on? Is there something to be concerned about? Well, we're going to be talking about that, plus the latest ceasefire news in the Middle East, as finally, we got a cessation of violence in the region that will begin in just a few hours from now. Will it hold? Will there be peace in the Middle East? Well, probably not, but we're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, all here on this independent media broadcast. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you can get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com, and the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast highlights a school indoctrination teacher on a public salary financed by theft. As of course, this woman's struggles are becoming everyday struggles for the average American that has to face with record high inflation numbers as the government keeps printing money out of thin air and literally bankrolling foreign conflicts all around the world. Credit card debt through the roof. People living paycheck to paycheck. But hey, some bloodthirsty neoconservative warmongerer could at least feel a little bit better knowing that your money is being siphoned away from you and given towards what is essentially a larger blood sacrifice. So yeah, that's why we can't have nice things. As perfectly highlighted by @WallStreetSylv, who of course originally published this video on his Twitter account. I don't know who this woman is. I don't know who posted this video, but if you do know, let me know in the description below so we could accredit them correctly, as her description of her financial situation is just absolutely devastating, and it shows you the uphill battle that the American people face when it comes to governments that literally just print money out of thin air, while taxing you allegedly for the roads that they can't even keep up themselves with maintaining. As of course, this is the latest footage coming from Los Angeles, as we have record high levels of traffic hitting that absolutely poorly planned bureaucratic hellscape, as that bumper-to-bumper nightmare traffic in LA is only going to get worse right before Thanksgiving, where of course a lot of Americans will be traveling to see their loved ones, their family members, to discuss highly tumultuous political ideas at the dinner table, as already over 1,000 flights have been delayed, as there is some bad weather expected in the northeast of the United States, as people have to congregate closely next to each other in order to get fondled by, of course, their TSA and the blue glove of love that perfectly highlights the efficiency of government. And with all of these people congregating together, will this be a winter of severe illness and death, as prophesized by, of course, individuals like Dr. Fauci and the federal government that lied and abused a national health emergency a couple of years ago to benefit greatly off of? Well, who actually knows, as today we are also getting the reports of a mystery pneumonia that is tearing through schools all in China, with what the Daily Mail describes an eerie echo of the national health emergency that we went through a couple years ago. As there are a lot of reports of sick children in Beijing and Laosing, as some schools have canceled classes, and we're getting more dramatic video footage of hospitals being overrun. This as Eric Fingal Ding is having his heyday back again, describing how this is an undiagnosed pneumonia outbreak, a large one at that particularly is going after children, as many children are being reported to have, quote, atypical symptoms, which include lung inflammation, high fever, but lack of coughing or other common signs of flu, RSV, or similar respiratory diseases. This is now ProMed, a widely accessible global infection disease surveillance system, just put out a warning this past late Tuesday. The same organization that sent out an alert in December of 2019 before our national health emergency here in the United States that, of course, the American people were lied to about. As, of course, this lung inflammation that probably is coming from a viral infection is acting very strange, which is sparking a lot of different individuals to have their theories about what is happening now, as it's still important to note here that we know very little about the actual situation. Is it being overhyped? Is it being overplayed? Or is it being underplayed is a question that a lot of people are asking themselves. As particularly, I have my own theories about what is happening here, which I will be sharing on lukeunfiltered.com after this video. But don't worry, your government officials absolutely have your best interest at heart. As of course, there's nothing to worry about when we have government officials literally going out of their way to stop you from hearing information that they don't like. This as the governor of New York, Ms. Hochul, just announced new tools for students to, quote, spot conspiracy theories, misinformation, disinformation, and, quote, online hate. Now, who gets to determine what any of those bad things are or lumped into with? Well, that, of course, will be the state that is acting on their own behets and the behets of the interests that actually control the government. As, of course, these larger efforts aren't only being put in place in New York, they also have been put in place in California and in many other states. As, of course, God forbid people get alternative information like in 2020 that was absolutely right about the global sickness before, but was censored by the state and big social media companies that, of course, made sure that American people were not told the truth about what was actually going on. Again, the state, the intelligence agencies, the social media companies are all in bed together, censoring information, and now many states are codifying their decision to make sure that you cannot hear alternative information, which usually turns out to be true. 2020, all that information in the beginning of that entire circus, predominantly, almost all was true. The state banned a lot of that information, made sure people couldn't hear that information, as lives of journalists and independent media organizations were literally stripped away from individuals because they dared to speak the truth when it was inconvenient for the state. And now we could expect the same from the federal government and the corporate media institutions that do their bidding, as, of course, they always focus on the most distractive of issues that, of course, divide and conquer the local populations, like the way that you were born or how you like to perform acts in your own private bed in your own private time. I don't give a damn about any of that stuff and what you personally decide to do with your own life, as long as you're not hurting anybody. But I think it's clear, as prophesied by Bill Gates and Dr. Fauci, there could be another 2020 scenario that previously we were censored for, but we're able to at least speak the truth to members of LukeUnfiltered.com. Members who, of course, got a lot of warnings, got a lot of information that helped them make the right decision, that they are very grateful and happy that they did. There's also a lot of lawsuits that I was personally told about that people successfully won because of the information we were able to provide them on LukeUnfiltered.com. As, of course, I have my own theories about this. I'm going to be getting into it in a video right after this one. That video only available for members. Members also get to call into our live show. We're doing another live show, 7 p.m. Eastern today, with a very special guest. getting into a lot of important stuff. And don't forget, we also just launched our Black Friday sale. This sale was supposed to go off at midnight tonight. I said, screw it. For the people that actually watch this video, you get it before anyone else. 25% off store-wide with coupon code GiveThanks for our highly acclaimed, really awesome supplements that are always here on my desk that I take. One of my favorites is, of course, TakeCalm.com. It's this guy here. As you can see by the label, I carry it around almost everywhere I go, as it's been a little bit beat up here, but I really like this thing. I'm already almost done with this particular bottle. Full spectrum, 1,000 milligrams CBD, which, again, to me, this has been a major game changer when it comes to my own personal health journey. Do your own research, do your own homework, but take advantage of the Black Friday sale, as of course, this also makes the perfect gifts for the holiday season. As of course, what better way to support independent media? Give the gift of health to your loved ones or to yourself. And you can do that right now by going to wearechange.shop. Wearechange.shop. The link is now in the description below. Click on it right now, and I will see you there right after this video. As of course, there's still so much information to talk about, particularly, especially when it comes to all the developments happening in the Middle East right now, as it finally looks like there has been some kind of temporary ceasefire that has been agreed to, as now 50 hostages will be set free. Great news for the hostages, great news for the families that, of course, were worried about their loved ones, as the fighting will stop for 4 days, as this truce will go into effect 10 a.m. this Thursday, right before Thanksgiving here in the United States. This, as of course, we keep being inundated with stories after stories about personal events and attacks with individuals going after each other because of the way that they look or the way that they were born. There's one particular story of an Obama advisor to the Middle East that was really mean to a street cart vendor. And, okay, why is this news? Is something a lot of people should be asking themselves. There's a professor who was booted off campus for condemning Hamas, which is absolutely crazy in my opinion. There's been a lot of racial and religious motivated attacks that absolutely deserve to be called out. As of course, in my opinion, if you are hurting someone because of what their government represents, you're an absolute frickin' idiot. And let's just be honest here, there's a lot of frickin' idiots, and I don't give a damn on what side you are. If you lump in and you discriminate and you go after a person because of the way that they naturally are, that they can't control, you're the butthole, you're the bad person, and you deserve to be called out no matter what. Now, with these stories, though, there is something to say about the emotional manipulation behind them that, of course, is motivating a lot of people to say that you are anti this person or anti that religion or anti that ethnicity. And in some instances, some of those people are, and they do deserve to be called out. But there also has been a weaponization of these terms to go after individuals for political reasons and not for actual reasons of hate and bigotry. As, of course, failed U.S. Representative Adam Schiff came out and attacked Elon Musk for allegedly amplifying racial hatred towards the Jewish people and going as far as to promote Hamas propaganda. And again, that is absolutely not true at all. Lies, smears, emotional manipulation, and usury of this highly tumultuous situation for someone's own personal gain, which is disgusting behavior by Adam Schiff that truly should be called out here. As of course, now Elon Musk will be donating advertisement revenue from Twitter to hospitals in Israel and the Red Cross in Gaza, who clearly need a lot of help and humanitarian support, and will actually be getting it from Elon Musk, who is putting his money where his mouth is and actually helping both people here, which to me is the more rational approach to take here rather than the more emotional approach that does deserve to be called out and recently was called out by Tucker Carlson, essentially pointing the finger at one of the most prominent right-wing media figures that is essentially the head of the Daily Wire, and that, of course, being Ben Shapiro with these very pointed statements.
And it used to be our first defense. You would say, well, in fact, there was a guy who used to say, facts don't care about your feelings. He's changed his views on that recently, but that remains true.
As Ben finally just tweeted a couple hours ago for the first time in a long time, he's been retweeting a lot of people. He's also been getting very heavily ratioed on social media. As of course, he has been calling for more conflict, no ceasefires, no negotiations, and just for, quote, the end of Hamas here, as clearly anger perpetrates more anger, hate perpetrates more hate, war creates more war. And I'm just like, hey, I don't want any of this nonsense. And if you agree with that, share this video with your friends and family members, as of course, we're living in very tumultuous times. They're probably going to get a lot more tumultuous from here. You got to be the best version of yourself. You got to be the strongest version of yourself. That's what we focus on, specifically on LukeUnfiltered.com. One more video about that and what I think is really happening over in China on LukeUnfiltered.com. Click the link down in the description below so we could continue this conversation. Another show live today, 7 p.m. Eastern. Stay tuned for that, plus a lot more. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively sharing and watching these videos and supporting me and buying the products on wearechange.shop. And because you do, that's why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.